Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are on page 39, lesson 6 of module 3, and we are continuing with our multiplying fractions. So the first thing we're going to do is write our steps because we need to have these steps memorized. So our steps for multiplying fractions. Okay, they're very different than adding and subtracting fractions. So first, remember, we set up horizontally. And it has to be a fraction times a fraction. We do not do whole numbers and we do not do mixed numbers. It has to be a fraction times a fraction. Our second step is we multiply straight across. So we multiply our numerators and we multiply our denominators even if they're different. We don't need common denominators. We just go straight across. Our third step is we correct greater than 1 fractions. So if it is the numerator's larger than 1, if the numerator is larger than the denominator, we need to correct it because it's worth more than 1. And our final step is, if we can, we simplify. So we're always starting with our steps, and you need to have those 4 steps memorized. You need to know the order of them. Okay, moving on to our first problem on page 39. It says convert each measurement. So we are working with gallons and quarts. So again, this is a US measurement for liquid volume. So kind of a quick reminder is Gallon Man has 4 quarts in it. So that's why here I see gallon has 1, 2, 3, 4 quarts. So that is what they're equal to. Okay, a gallon is worth 4 quarts. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit different because now we're going from quarts to gallons. We're going from quarts to gallons. Yesterday when we did this, we went from like gallons to quarts. So we're going to see something different here. And the picture can help us. If I have 2 quarts, so I have 2 quarts, that would be right here. So that's 1 quart. Here's another quart. So if I have 2 of them, how much of the gallon do I have? I have half a gallon. So mathematically, how would I do this? Well, mathematically, I would have said that if I have 2 quarts, I have two of, and each quart is worth 1/4 of a gallon. I have 2 quarts that are worth 1/4 of a gallon. So 2 of those would be 2 over 1 times 1/4 would equal 2/4. So because each quart is 1/4 of a gallon, and I have 2 of them. So my answer is 2/4, which is equivalent when simplified to 1/2. Okay, so let's think about my next one. This one says if I have 6 quarts. Well, if I have 4 quarts, I have 1 gallon. So if I have 6 quarts, I'm going to have more than a gallon. So I'm going to have more than 1 gallon. But mathematically, how would I do this? I would say I have 6 of them, and they're each 1/4 of a gallon big. They're each 1/4 of a gallon big. So if I have 6 of them, I'm going to say I have 6 over 1 times 1/4. And when I multiply straight across, I get 6/4. Now this is a greater than 1 fraction, and many of you could do this. If I couldn't, I could have used division. So this is a good answer. This is a better answer. And if I simplify it, because I know 2 can go into this 1 time and 2 can go into that twice, if I simplify it, I get the best answer. And again, that makes sense because if I have 6 of them, I'm going to have more than 4, and 4 equals 1. So it had to be more than 1. It wouldn't have been 2 because it would take 4 to make 1, so it would take 8 to make 2. So it had to be somewhere between 1 and 2. Okay, my next one says 7 quarts. Well, I have 7 of them, and they're each 1/4 of a gallon. So I have 7 times 1. I'm sorry, 7 over 1 times 1/4 equals 7/4. And 7/4 equals 1 3/4. So that would be our answer, 1 3/4. I'm going to go back and add this one. Okay, our next one is a little trickier because they didn't give us a picture to help us. So let's think about this. A bucket is filled with 16 quarts of water. How many gallons of water in the bucket? Well, I have 16 of them, 16 quarts, and each one of them is 1/4 of a gallon. That's what they're telling me there. I have 16 and each one is 1/4 of a gallon. So I have 16 over 1 times 1/4. And this is how I should set it up. And then we just go straight across. 16 times 1 is 16. 1 times 4 is 4. And this is clearly a greater than 1 or an improper fraction. So I would need to use division, and I would get 4 gallons. I'm going to get 4 gallons. Okay, let's look at our next one. This one says, convert each measurement. So now we're back to feet and inches. So remember, 1 foot is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 inches. So 1 foot equals 12 inches, and 1 inch equals 1/12 of a foot. So this is 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 twelfths equals 1 foot. Okay, so for my 4 inches, we could look at the picture and kind of figure this out. If I had 4 inches, how much of the foot do I have? I don't have half of it. Well, I could see here, these 4 could go together and those 4. So if I have 4 inches, I actually have 1/3 of a foot. But why is that? Let's actually try it. Well, if I have 4 of them, and each one is 1/12 of a foot big, I have 4 over 1 times 1 over 12, which means I have 4/12. And if I simplify this by dividing them by 4, I get 1/3. So that's why it's 1/3. I get the same answer. I'm going to change colors, but I want you to do this with me. I just want to show you the next one. The next one said if you had 8 inches. So if you have 8 inches, what do you think you would have there? If we had say this was 1/3, and now I have that plus this, and I don't have that. Hopefully you're kind of seeing that you would have 2/3. Okay, mathematically I don't have a lot of room to fix that, so I'm just gonna come over here. So 8 inches would be, I have 8 of them, and they're each 1/12 of a foot big. So I have 8 over 1 times 1 over 12, which would give me 8 times 1 is 8, 1 times 12 is 12. So I'm getting 8/12. So how did we get 2/3? Well, I know to simplify, I could divide them both by 4, and I get 8 divided by 4 is 2, 12, and that's how I got the 2/3. Okay, my last one there says 15 inches equals how many feet? Well, 15 of them, and they're each 1/12 of a foot. So again, I know 12 inches equals 1 foot. So if I have 15 inches, I'm gonna have more than 1 foot. So I'm gonna get, for my next step is 15 over 1 times 1/12 equals 15/12. So that is definitely more than 1. We could use our in and out for that and do division. So I'm getting 1 3/12. Now, some of you might know that you could simplify that because you could divide the 3 by 3 and the 12 by 3, and you're going to end up with 1 1/4. So that's the best answer. So that's great, and that's even better, though. Okay, our last problem is, a ribbon is 24 inches long. How long is the ribbon in feet? So what they're converting here is 24 inches equals how many feet? That's our problem we want solved. So that's the same thing as we were doing here. Well, I know each inch is the same as 1/12 of a foot. So I know it's 24 over 1 times 1 over 12, which would equal 24/12, which is 2. So that does make sense, because if you have 24 inches, you know that 12 inches was 1 foot and 12 is the other foot, so you have 2 feet. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last lesson of this module. I'm sorry, not module, of this topic. So if you're having any struggles and you're not feeling great, make sure you reach out to your teacher or your parents or your friends for help, because our quiz will be coming up. Have a great night. Bye.